Well, I don't know if you've ever seen one of these all cleaned up, and I don't know if you have the same shaped bottles in America, but if you do, then that's great. But these are what our Heinz sauces come in, and to be honest, lots of other sauces come in these shaped bottles as well. And I looked at this and I thought, do you know, that looks like shoulders, that looks like little feet, and that looks like the body. What I'm going to do is turn this into something a little bit more fun. Now, before I go ahead with this, what I'm going to do, because this is plastic, is I'm going to cover this whole bottle in masking tape, and this is just cheap painter's tape that I'm using here, and I do tend to pull it quite tight and push it down quite firm as well, and this will give my next stages something to work on and not fall off of, because this is plastic. And I still obviously want to keep the shape of the bottle as much as possible. Now, it doesn't matter if you've got little crinkles and wrinkles in it, because they will all disappear as we carry on and do the rest. So that's all nicely covered now, and I'm going to make this a bit of a self-portrait in a way, because I'm going to decorate it to look similar to me when I wear my dungarees. So the first thing I'm going to have to put on there is, using aluminium foil or aluminum foil for our American folks, a stomach. Definitely need a bit of a belly. So that's going to come to there. So I'm just going to flatten out these edges where it touches the bottle to get a smoother transition, like that. Pad out that middle bit with a bit of rolled up aluminium. Stick that in. And that's going to be my belly. I think it's going to be about there. And then I can just pop some more masking tape on this to hold that in place. And then I'm going to cover that with masking tape so it's no foil showing. So there we go, that's nicely covered up. Now I've also made some arms in exactly the same way by just rolling up a little bit of masking tape. Now I've not done any hands because I want it to look like I've got my hands in my pockets. And I'm placing these bits onto what I would consider to be the shoulder of this bottle, like that. Well, that's now coated, and it's in the rough shape of me, short, fat, and squat. I've put a couple of little boots on as well. Now, before I go any further, to give that its final coat, what I'm going to do is put one layer, that's all, of paper all over this, and that'll stick to this really, really well. And this is just the brown paper that comes with your Amazon deliveries or things like that. Now, if you haven't got any of this, then kitchen paper will do just as well. I shall coat all over that whole bottle, like that. This is all nice and dry now, and it's gone hard. It definitely is starting to look a bit like me. Short, squat, and chunky. What I'm going to do now is put some of my homemade clay on it. And I've got a fresh batch that I've just made up yesterday. You might be thinking, well, that's a different colour than what he normally makes up. And the only reason is because recently our egg boxes have come that colour. But it works perfectly well. Don't forget, always have a little bit of water around as well when you're doing something like this, because it will help you to smooth things out. I'm not going to do much with the top at the moment, so I'm going to put that to one side. But what I am going to do is start to put this on. And I only want a really thin layer of this over here where the body is. See what I mean about that, getting that nice and smooth? If you dip your finger in the water, or a blade or a knife or a modelling tool, you'll find that that will smooth out really well. Because once I've done this, I'm then going to mould it so it looks like I'm wearing dungarees and I've got my hands in my pockets. I'll show you how I'm going to do that once I've covered this front. And this is where I will use my clay tools. Help me get in here and get more solid definition where the arms are. And this clay is awesome. My recipe for this clay is on my website. It's free, or I do have a video where I've made it. I've made several different types of clay. This is the one I always keep going back to. And you can sand this as well afterwards once it's dry if you want a bit smoother finish. We've got that all covered now. I just need to make the pockets, and they're really, really easy to make. What I need to do is get myself thin, like snake of this clay. So that'll do there. And I can pop that on to my arm, or where my hand is, here, like that. And then taking a knife or a blade or whatever you're using, I can then blend this in from the bottom down. Okay, so that's the top of the actual pocket. Now all I need to do is put a kind of a lump of this underneath to pad that out, and then blend that in with that. And there I've got my hand in my pocket. I'll do the same the other side, and then I'll show you how I'm going to do the dungarees. So now my pocket's on, and what I'm going to do is put the tops of my dungarees in, and they're going there. And I'm using exactly the same method, like that. But this time I won't need to put any padding underneath. I'm just taking off the excess that I don't need, and then again I'm blending that in like that. So that's the top of the dungaree. Now I need to come down here and then go around the back, doing exactly the same thing to give it all that line like that. And that's the top and one side. I'll finish off the dungarees, and then I'll show you how I'm going to put the bits going around the side and the straps on. So I've got those all on now, and it's time to do the straps. And I'm going to do the straps slightly different to this, to how I did the rest of it. What I'm going to do is, from here, I'm going to draw, using this implement, my strap going over, trying to keep it about the same distance away, each one. Okay, and then they're going to cross over at the back like that. So I've got my straps in there, and then get my knife here and then thin that out a little bit as I go along. And then go the other side and do exactly the same thing and thin that out. Because if not, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend so much time trying to get a square piece of this clay going on. And then once those straps are done, I can let it dry completely before I do anything else to it. Well, this is all lovely and dry now, and it didn't take long to dry. It's gone lovely and hard. Now it's time to paint it. So obviously I'm going to paint me dungarees blue, but a very pale blue. I'm going to paint in the strap. I'm just using normal acrylic paints here. This doesn't need sealing. It's no different than painting on some paper. I haven't sanded it or anything. I just didn't think I needed to, because it has given a really nice, smooth finish. Well, I've painted in the dungarees, and I'm going to paint in the boots. I always wear black boots, so they'll be black. Paint up to my line. And then once I've done the boots, I can then paint in my shirt, and I think I'm going to do a red shirt for this. Okay, well, it's nearly finished now, and I think it's coming out great. All I need to do is pop a little bit of silver on these clasps. I have varnished the boots, but that's the only part I'm going to varnish as well, because I want them to be shiny. And with these, all I'm going to do is paint them silver, put a little, what looks like a silver clip over there as well, like that. And then once they're done and it's all dry, I'll show you what it looks like with its lid on. And these finished now. I really like that. You could put a head on it, you could turn it into a gnome and put a hat on it or something like that, but I really like it like that. I love how it's come out. That was so easy to make. I think it's real good fun. And what I'm going to do is put any spare pound coins that I have in there and save up, because I'm currently saving for a mini router and a router bed to be able to extend the range of projects that I'm going to be showing on this channel. And if you'd like to help out with that, then you can always pop me a coffee, and the link for that is in the description below. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this project. I've loved it. Boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your crafting. Take care. Bye.